We asked for Bespin Luke, we got a Bespin Luke. Hi everyone, welcome to One Six Figure Focus, and in this video we're going to take a look at the newly released Hot Toys Bespin Luke Skywalker from Empire Strikes Back. Now, this is one that people were crying out in the community for the longest time, as well as a Bespin Han, which still hasn't been announced, but that's a story for another day. So this is Bespin Luke. We wanted it, we got it. There has been Bespin Luke since the Dx07, which was, interestingly, Star Wars, the first ever Star Wars DX from Hot Toys. It was one where there was two different versions of this, one heavily battle damaged, one cleaner, but definitely more weathered than what you have here. And you had the weather vane and all that kind of different stuff, and it was, you know, fairly substantial set. I'm pretty sure that the Vader head sculpt with the Luke mask actually came with that as well, and people were kind of peeved about this. This is a funny one, right? Because this is out now. There's two different versions. There's Dx24 and then there's Dx25. Now Dx24 is basically sorry, I'll start with the Dx25 actually. Dx25, it comes with two extra things. It comes with a really bad hexagon Dagobah base, and it comes with that aforementioned Darth Vader head sculpt, which is broken, showing the Luke face inside. Now, the funny thing is, I think they nearly made a mistake. I nearly think that the Dx24 was supposed to come with the Dagobah base, and then the Dx25 was supposed to come with both. But like, what actually happened was the regular Dx24 came with the Bespin base, which is light up, and then of course the Dx25 came with both. Because I hear a lot of people passing on the Dx25, which is the deluxe, because they don't need the Dagobah base and they're willing to do without the Vader helmet with the Luke mask. And I can totally see that, because that's what I've done. Because the Dagobah base is lame, and I can live without the Vader head sculpt with or Vader mask with the Luke head sculpt inside. I just don't need it, because there's a $60 price difference. The Dx24 is $285, Dx25 is 300, and let me check now. Yeah. Dx24 $285 comes with this base. Dx25 $345 comes with this base and that head sculpt, and it also comes with the light up base as well. Anyway, let's flick through some of these photos. First thing I noticed, is this perfect? No, it's not perfect. First thing I noticed is that it is very clean. I looked at it and I thought it was very clean. Now, I know as the battle in Bespin went on, he got progressively more weathered and battle damaged. He was cut, he had a bruised up eye, you know, there was some blood in the outfit and stuff, and there was some dirt and stuff like that. He had things thrown at him. I totally get that. So when he arrived on Bespin, he still wasn't this clean. He's definitely going to the same laundromat that those Tusken Raiders from The Mandalorian were going to. Is it a deal breaker? Absolutely not. This is already en route from Hong Kong from Lion Rock Toys. I'm particularly excited about this. I've got 3 different versions of Luke. When I think back to first seeing the original Star Wars trilogy, my favorite look for Luke was Return of the Jedi. I don't have Return of the Jedi, but I have the Mando Luke. And for me, that's perfect, because in my mind's eye, the Return of the Jedi Luke was a jet black cloak, but we know, obviously, it was actually dark brown, which is interesting. There's a lot of the kind of little 3 3/4 inch figures and, you know, stuff that they'd released at that time. They actually had the cloak black. There was a Power of the Force figure I used to have, and sure enough, it was a black cloak as figure form, but we know it was a dark brown cloak. But I love that in Mando, it was almost like a nod to all those collectors who the original trilogy was proud of their childhood, where they had the jet black cloak. Plus, it made him look more of a badass. It was more Sith-like, and I loved that. So yeah, the Mando Luke I have is that representation of you know, season finale of season 2 of The Mandalorian. But it can also stand in as a Jedi Luke, as even though it's not perfect. But my point is, I think that it's enough different that, it's similar enough that I wouldn't go rushing out to get a Return to Jedi Luke, even if they did one for the 40th anniversary, unless they give us something really different. Then you have the Snowspeeder Luke, completely different look. And I love that it had the kind of pilot side of him. Then you have this. I was never much of a fan of the Farm Boy Luke, personally. Now, and again, maybe you have the Farm Boy Luke and you absolutely love it. And it was the first one from New Hope, so I can get why people's loyalties would lie with this one. This is really simple. It is a bit too clean. A little bit of, not battle damage, but a little bit of weathering will go a long way in this. I think there's something up the stitching that I can't quite put my finger on. Maybe it's, I think people are saying like there's some padding on there making him look a bit more like puffier than he actually does. And I heard people complain about the boots as well. None of these things for me are actually deal breakers, because it's Bespin Luke, its original trilogy. It is from the best Star Wars movie, and it is from one of the best scenes, whether you like it or not, from cinema history. You know, he faces off against Darth Vader. You have the iconic line where Darth Vader reveals that he is his father. You have a lightsaber battle. Imagine being back in 1980 watching that live. And the thing is, I still really love that lightsaber battle, even though they were limited by the technology and special effects that they had available to them. So I'll go on and have a look at this. Love this shot. This is the hairpiece I'd use. It does, I believe, have separate rolling eyes function. Just want to check that. I'm 90% sure it does. 90% sure it does. Sorry, a little bit of a tangent here because I don't want to be giving you false information. The Sideshow site is so awkward since they changed it. I don't really use it that much, but does it have separate rolling eyes? Yeah, it does. Grant. So this is it comes with two hair pieces. This one and then one that's more like, it looks like wet and it's kind of straight down his face, but I don't think that one really doesn't do anything for the likeness, in my opinion. I think this head sculpt is solid. I think with this hair piece it's better. Look, is this a 10 out of 10? It is absolutely not a 10 out of 10. I think the most I could give this head sculpt is an 8. They tend to struggle with Mark Hamill's likeness. It looks great in Snowspeeder Luke because you can cover up most of it with the helmet. The Dx23 Luke is fantastic. Right, I think that's the best one they've done. I've heard people speculating that this is actually the same sculpt, and I don't know. I'll have to put them in the hat. It's hard that the hairpiece can change everything. I need to put them side by side, almost with the head sculpts off, and they'll look weird just to see if they're the exact same sculpt. But even then, they might have different paint applications, so I don't actually know. But I really, really like this. The simple touches with the belt, although that's pleather. I love the little things I do. I love the inclusion of the fact that you can hang the lightsaber off the belt by the little hook. I just love that. It's so simple, but I have that in the Snowspeeder Luke there, and it's just a nice way to display things. Blaster as well is pretty cool. I do have a CCFL. I'm in the process of ordering one. I haven't actually pulled the trigger yet. I'm just getting my order together because I want to get CCFLs for this, and also of course this could be used with the CCFL could be interchanged between this figure and the Snowspeeder Luke because it's the same saber. And Ahsoka, yeah, the live action Ahsoka, I want to get the CCFLs for that as well. But yeah, so this, my initial impressions, I'm not going to lie, they were maybe slightly underwhelming. I think that was maybe the tailoring in the outfit. I think not so much the tailoring, but the lack of weathering. That's what it was. It doesn't have to be battle damage, it just looks a little bit too clean. That's the thing that stood out to me the most. And I think if it did, it would actually like look a bit darker. If it looked darker, it would look a bit fitted. And maybe a little bit worn would be great as well. But I'm totally nitpicking here. Head sculpt, about an 8 out of 10. I do see Mark Hamill here. It's definitely better than some previous offerings. Yeah, you're just not going to get that look with a saber with oh yeah, it's not a USB saber. I've heard people give out about that, but like, it's this simple. The prototype and the promotional images and the promotional blog, they didn't say it was a USB saber. Kenobi from the Kenobi show was the first USB saber, so therefore that's not a real valid complaint. You weren't promised it, therefore you didn't get it. So that's my opinion on that. So this is obviously the deluxe one. You have the extra base, the Dagobah base. It's just a hexagon base with a print of, you know, swamp or whatever and a piece of rock or twig next to it. And then you've got this Vader mask with Luke in between. Apparently it's the exact same sculpt. And you got this hairpiece. So you need a CCFL to get that look, in my opinion. So this is again $285 for the Dx24, the regular version. I won't be using that hairpiece. It wouldn't make sense either. I think as the battle went on, you got more sweatier and more battle damage and grimy, and then the hair would get wet and kind of sit down a bit more. Or is this more from, it's hard to tell. I think he was like that in Dagobah as well, but yeah, it's probably at the end of the battle in Bespin or in parts of Dagobah when he was training, basically when his hair was wet. But I'll be using this one more. The look I'll be going for is his look on this base, because this base I do really like, because it's not just a hexagon or a diamond or, you know, like that kind of square grill that they give us. I'm not big on bases because a lot of the bases I don't like and they're very generic and they don't actually add anything to display. However, when you have something like, if you want to do a flight pose, you need to use a base. The In-Art Joker magnetic base, all the controversy aside, I actually love it. I think it's a very classy looking base. I've got the Justice League Superman down here. He's levitating, hence I use the base. So there are certain exceptions when I use it. This is one of them because it has a purpose. It is a piece of the environment in Bespin that he was on during that duel. That's one. Second, it's USB powered, and now that I've drilled USB sized holes in the bottom of the DTOVs, I can now rig it up and just basically on the app of my phone turn anything on with a click. So I like that. This looks great here. I'll be posing him with this USB powered base lit up, with a CCFL lit up, and with this hairpiece as well. From time to time I'll pose it like this. He's holding the lightsaber with two hands, or sometimes I'll have him with the blaster with the CCFL off to the side. Even that pose looks pretty cool. I'm just really, that head sculpt, that hairpiece, it's gonna stay in the box, to be fair. I just think that hairpiece is terrible. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty cool, yeah. It's a very simple figure, but it just screams original trilogy. It screams Empire Strikes Back. I know a lot of people are underwhelmed by this, and I get why they'd be underwhelmed with the few different things, like this hairpiece not being great. The sculpt, it's not a shrink ray. It's, I still think it's strong, it's about an 8. The outfit being not weathered, I completely get all that. But no, look, this is one that it was on the wish list, and as soon as I saw it, that looks very weird, not gonna lie. I wonder, is this the posing and the blogging and the photography here? I don't know. I think with this figure, I'm really looking forward to getting in hand and just posing up. Some of these poses look great. Like that looks a great pose, although I wouldn't use that hairpiece, as I've mentioned multiple times in this video. Yeah, I just kind of want to go back through these, because a lot of these poses aren't doing much for me. That looks awful. That looks awful. Again, it's the bad hairpiece. The hairpiece makes a difference. Yeah, so that hairpiece is going to stay in the box. I just want to go back to, there's one I really liked. There's one I really liked with the base. Yeah, so this here, I think that's a pretty good representation of what I'd have on my shelf. I think, yeah, that base lit up, that hairpiece, CCFL lightsaber, something like this. Yeah, that's it. I'm really looking forward to this one. It could be a bit more weathered, and that hairpiece is bad, but yeah, no, I'm happy with this, and this will probably be, dare I say, the last Luke I get, but we know how that goes. So then you have Snowspeeder, which is my favorite figure of last year. The Dx23, which I have posed up behind me, which I absolutely love, and that's from that, just that scene from the season finale of Mandalorian. And then you have Bespin. Like, think about this. You've three triple threats there. 3 triple threats. Do I love the character? Yes. Do I love the source material? Original trilogy of Mandalorian? Yes. Specifically Empire Strikes Back and the season finale of Mandalorian. And then do we love those versions? Yeah. There's something very different about the Snowspeeder, very different about Bespin, and very different about the Dx23 Mando Luke. I think we'll leave it there. That's the end of the video. If you want to support the channel, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Let me know if you're picking this up or not. Let me know what you like about it, what you don't like about it. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And again, I would encourage you, please, to disagree. But yeah, any offensive, salty comments, blocked immediately. That's it. You can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. That's it. It's the end of the video. See you next one. Good luck.